Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Time to get here to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. Day number 2. We have 2 more series left here for bracket number 3. That was a lot of numbers. And at the desk, still the same boys, the same best boys.
Keeping the best.
We're the best boys.
The best boys.
I always wanted to be a best boy, James.
I'm treating you like dogs. It's weird. There you go. So we have SpeCial versus Snute coming up as our next match. Rotterdam, what a fixture. This is a great one. We've seen it at WCS a few times here and there.
No, this is really turning into a classic, I think, in the foreign scene. They often have epic series. It's kind of funny because exactly 1 month ago, on the 27th of January, they played against each other in Leipzig at the first big WCS stop of the year. It was a really close series. Back then, SpeCial was able to win 3-2. But of course, right after that, we saw SpeCial fall against Carrol. So maybe Snute has been taking a couple of notes. And historically, they've got an interesting history as well. They've obviously played against each other throughout the entirety of StarCraft 2 history. Not super many games. Snute holds an 8-5 lead in series, but more relevant is the last 4 times they played. SpeCial won 3 out of 4 times. And the really funny thing again, the one time that Snute win, he did win 3-0, so it's really hard to predict between these two.
Pig, it seems that we've gone from, you know, Daishi going up against Namsha, that's a great TVZ. Then we had, you know, Daishi going up against a Snute, that's, you know, another great TVZ. But each of these TVZs keeps getting leveled up to the point where now Snute versus SpeCial is phenomenal.
Well, when you take the silly race out of the equation, it's just Terrans and Zergs. I mean, the quality of the tournament. No, I'm leaving. I'm sorry, Kevin, but honestly, I mean, the games speak for themselves. It's been incredible. SpeCial, of course, is the powerhouse. We were saying it a few rounds ago. He still looks like the favorite to come out of this lower bracket. Obviously, I think we all think of that great Valencia stomping last year, which is the time where Snute 3-0'd SpeCial. I think I might have even had a cheeky bet on that match with a friend, and I got absolutely destroyed there. It was something which was very surprising at the time, but Snute is very, very strong. He's very good at it. Is SpeCial going to play into his hands, though? Lately, we've seen SpeCial able to play both bio and mech, and he's got so many different openings, so many different styles, whereas Snute, what we've seen from him is the same 2 styles. Basically, it's always either you just macroing up into mech, or you do something which looks the same, the heavy queens, the roaches, and then you go for the big Ravager Ling bust. He really has only showed those 2 builds. SpeCial's going to be watching out. I don't think he's going to give away a free loss to that Ravager Ling timing after seeing it work before against his other Terran players.
Your quick thoughts, Tasteless, before we go to this match?
I'd say these are 2 very different players on an emotional level. Snute, somebody who obviously they both love the game, they both care, but Snute's somebody who doesn't take losses well, puts a lot of pressure on himself. I feel like SpeCial really is quite different from that. SpeCial seems to just show up and do what he practiced. And it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out, because Snute's been hungry, especially in this tournament. You can't really get much bigger than this, right? That he wants to perform here, and it's a real knife fight in these lower brackets. And we've seen SpeCial, for instance, just a few months ago at BlizzCon, perform very well at a tournament where the pressure was really on.
Well, of course, now one of these players is going to be eliminated. Thank you very much, gents, as we head off to our second last match here in bracket number 3. Snute goes up against SpeCial.
All right, thanks, guys. Great match coming up. I mean, these 2 are epic monsters of the non-Korean scene. And in fact, SpeCial really a monster of the Korean scene as well. Top 4 BlizzCon, top 4 IEM Pyeongchang. I mean, he's a killer.
I love the setup as well, where we just saw Daishi use mech in a way effectively against Snute. Like, wasn't successful, but he put up a hell of a fight. And now we've got another potential mech in Terran in SpeCial going up against Snute, who looked so good at controlling that late game army with Broodlords.
Well, I'm excited to see what SpeCial's going to pull out, because you know he was watching, you know he knows Snute inside out. He has more builds, I think, than Daishi as well. So we'll see how that goes. Down in the bottom right of Katowice, our Mexican player, our Mexican Terran player, it is SpeCial. Cracking that neck. Just like he's about to crack this Zerg's back. And his opponent in the top left, our Norwegian Zerg, it's Snute. Put his hood over his head.
When he takes the hoodie off, that's when you really gotta worry. Maybe if he loses game 1. Daishi took off the jacket to game 1 and 3.
Didn't help. Pull first.
Yeah, Snute wanting to make sure that he's safe there. Gonna be going for I guess, a hatchery shortly after that, as we had no extractor starting here just quite yet. And SpeCial, after watching the previous series, there is multiple options, right? Does he think he's better or maybe got a different type of mech than Daishi that he can go into? Or does he just straight up play Bio because maybe he was impressed by Snute's player against the mech of Daishi? Like, I guess we'll see.
Well, he can play Bio. In fact, I saw him playing Bio on this map against Lambo and took him down on Catalyst with that. You know, also something I've seen from him here on Catalyst specifically and on some other maps as well. And also, you know, TY, his favorite player, his friend, his mentor in some ways. They both do use that Ghost Rush here occasionally. And against Snute, couldn't that be pretty good? Getting out there kind of early on and utilizing some snipes, maybe a couple Cyclones, a lot of Hellions, and picking off the Queens, because Snute is like, this guy's a 7-queen type of guy.
Yeah, how he loves getting a lot of queens. We saw that in particular in those games against Daishi. Like, it feels like there's not many weaknesses, right, to getting a lot of queens like this. But there are a few, like something like getting 2 barracks, the 2-1-1, you know, where you get 2 barracks, get 2 medivacs out with a lot of Marines, and then doing a big push and trying to deal with these queens can be good if you wait until you've gotten to a certain point where you got enough Marines to deal with this, not with the first 2 necessarily. But yeah, a Ghost attacking early on maybe could do something good against Snute. You can expect these guys to have studied one another, though. So if SpeCial's aware of that and then tries to encounter it, all like Snute will have prepared accordingly and kind of try to anticipate what SpeCial could be doing.
Well, he has a lot of builds up his sleeve in his repertoire, I guess you could say. So some mind games certainly going to be going on here. I do like, again, we see an engineering block on this map. Kind of a cool thing because that, you know, where do you take your third from this point?
If Snute takes the one below his natural and main base, then it's more exposed, more siegeable, so to speak, by SpeCial, which definitely would want to embrace that, I think.
Well, right now, Starport on the way here for SpeCial. No third command center quite yet. Looks like he wants to go a bit of a harassment route, and I really do like that. If he's going to go into Banshee Hellion from here, after blocking the more easily defendable third, I think that that is a cool choice. But I think Snute has decided that, no, I'm taking my third where my third goes. But of course, that does make it quite a bit later.
I think SpeCial's decision-making has come a long way, by the way. He used to be this guy that was just a mechanical Terran that didn't necessarily have the best of micro, especially in the last game, the longer games. And his decision-making was always on point. But nowadays, like say if he was to get a lot of Hellions and trying to do a big siege, and he sees that there is too much, just slightly too much, he'll be like, okay, time to just pull back, take my time, wait until I have more, and then go again. So in terms of decision-making, like you can tell he trains so much and really learns from his losses, I think.
I agree with you completely, and I think part of this is probably due to the fact that he's become close friends with TY. If you ask me who the smartest Terran in the world is, I will always say TY. In fact, maybe, you know, along with SOS, the smartest player in the world. As far as, and here's
after Nesty, though, obviously, right?
Well, I mean, we don't even bring up Nesty. What's the point, right? I mean, he wins everything. Like, if Nesty was in this tournament, he'd be the champion, and we'd be playing for second. It's like, sorry, guys, no BlizzCon spots on the line. Nesty already has it. But no, I mean, like, and I think that if you look at the way that SpeCial has been playing for the last year and a half, maybe even, I think he's one of the smartest Terrans in the world at this point, like, with his decision-making.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of which, Hellions go across the map here, probably knowing that they were going to be queens. Queens are not very mobile, even on creep, so it's going to be for Lynx to try and defend this, but SpeCial, it's almost as if he felt that there were not Lynx ready just yet, and now he gets so many drones.
Dude, and not even that, like, he throws down the auto turret at the third base, getting some drones over there with it as well. 4 kills with that auto turret, 19 drones? And he's going bio play, right? So it's not like Snute has a long time to prepare for the next pressure.
Or even counter-attack. It's not like he can make a bunch of units and like have any chance to all in, which fewer and fewer players do, I've noticed as of late. Unless you've really been pushed into it and you have no choice. We barely ever see this. So now Snute he's having to re-drone, and soon's going to come that moment where SpeCial starts on pressuring once again and attacking, and for Snute to have enough units is going to be really hard.
Yeah. It's hard to even imagine like what he's going to be able to do with that. Look, we got missile attacks on the way, so he's going to be going likely into Hydras with this layer. And I mean, that's a good choice, right? He's playing against a bio player here. There's not going to be any mech this game for sure. But when this attack comes, you know, he's already got a couple siege tanks, I believe. His medevacs are on the way.
Does Snute know that it's bio? Did he scout anything?
I'm not sure that he did.
Yeah, don't you think he could be going for this because he thinks it's mech? Or does he... I guess he might not necessarily care that much, like he can play that style against both styles.
Well, I think the roach horn he's making is a nod towards it could be mech.
Yeah.
But I think once he sees that it is bio, which he should be able to see relatively soon here, like any sort of scout is going to see the marine count, and you should be able to kind of figure it out from that, I would say.
We used to see that style a lot where Zergs, they would go for a lot of queens, a lot of roaches, go into infestors, and then go into ultras, which are very hard to counter if reached comfortably. So now we already seen the infestation pit, so it really points towards that direction.
Yeah,
and the fact that Snute's already mining from 6 gases is going to help a lot with this, but it's just about getting enough units, because Snute lost a lot of drones in the start.
Yeah, and this is one of the strongest 3-base Zerg plays that you can really do. I mean, it's gone out of style recently, but definitely can still be strong. But look at this. This is that pressure we were talking about before. Like, the bio attack comes out a lot quicker than the mech one, generally speaking. Is he ready for this?
Snute sees more roaches here. He's trying to regroup with as many units as he can. Corrosive Bite is going to be dodged once again. SpeCial starting to do some economic damage here. If you could get some more drones, it'd be great for him. And those 2 tanks being left untouched the whole time. The Raven overseeing things.
As it should. That flying spellcaster with the great anti-armor there. But still putting on this pressure. A lot of roaches being forced out because of it. And wow, another one hits. But he doesn't really have the units to finish this off. Snute will clean this up. Medevacs look like they will be the only things to actually get out at this moment. And Hive is on the way, so I tend to agree with you here. It really does look like it's going to be that Ultralisk rush. I think that this is kind of cool because it's an older strategy. This is like kind of from the beginning of Legacy of the Void, but to bring it back in this situation where he's kind of behind, kind of in a hard spot, it's cool.
He does go into +2 missile. A lot of Zergs used to do this with +1 and then +2 melee. Remember Nurtio and all these guys that really mastered this style. So Snute wants to focus on having more damage on his ranged units first and foremost. I guess the Ultras, when they come out, they are mostly there for the tanking potential at the front. And we've seen compositions as well, like whenever there was Hydralisks and Banelings going into Ultras, well, a lot of Hydras behind Ultras is almost like an ideal composition against Bio in particular. But Snute actually goes for a Spire there, so you might not even be thinking about Ultras at all.
I think he's going to throw down Ultras. Dan, like if you're going for Spire-based play, you make that at the same time as the Hive. Like I know his economy is a little bit off, but it seems very late. Like what is the Hive actually going to do for him this early on?
Maybe with the previous defense, he thought that he could maybe try and skip the Ultralisk Cavern, which I mean is a little bit ambitious. Like if we look down there at the supply, SpeCial is keeping up very well, which.
Well, like you said, though, like with the ranged attack, he might not have been planning the Ultralisk Cavern at all. I mean, I know that we remember that strategy somewhat fondly. It was very strong for a while, but maybe this just wasn't his plan. Like, he just wants to get up to Hive. Maybe, you know, you have Viper Tech. You can get into your 3-3 if that's what you want to go for. But certainly the Spire is quite late.
Exit the Hydralisks. It's all about the Queens in support for the Roaches before trying to go for what I think will be some Broodlords here.
He's not buying into the Hydralisks, man. Those other Zergs are wrong.
That crypto stock was going down for Snute.
Yeah.
He's going to another one called the Broodlords, and I mean, he did very well with them in the previous series.
He wants the Broodlord days back, man. You can't have Swarm Hosts, you got to have those Broodlords. 2-2, going to be finishing up, so really quality upgrade still, but it's not like SpeCial is not on top of this also. The 4th base is up for Snute, not really saturated yet. Whereas SpeCial does have it that way, but Snute is one of these very few uncommon Zergs that can actually play at similar economies, or lower economies even, compared to a Terran player.
He actually managed in the previous series, I thought, his economy beautifully. The amount of drones that he had was he might have had a few too many SCVs. Like we see SpeCial stopping at 71, for example. Big engagement here happening out on the map. The tanks weren't siege quite yet. And he loses so many, oh my god, he lost the most important units there, the tanks, one of the medivacs, and already having 2 steam as well. Like it's going to be very hard for those 2 medivacs to bring everything back up to higher points.
Really, without those medevacs, it's pretty tough. And with that Greater Spire finishing up, getting a little bit scary there, but there is a Ghost Academy on the way, so maybe he can get that out in time to deal with some Broodlords. I don't see any Corruptors out yet. As Snute actually trying to swarm right now, he's going to be able to push back this push. Wow, Snute just playing like a man on fire here.
Oh, but that big drop on the left-hand side here and counter-attack from SpeCial is going to do a lot of damage. He spots the Great Aspire, which is a big deal, because as much as he was going for a Ghost Academy, he might have thought that this was still Ultralisks. Now he fully knows that he needs to react to this. He might have to go for more Starports and Vikings, unless he wants to try and do something different. Maybe just get Ghost and go on the offensive. Oh, he pushed him to it.
Yeah, I was like, hey,
he elbowed.
No, he didn't miss. He knew what he was doing.
He elbowed him.
Yeah. That was a flank right there. Die to the queens or die to the biles. Choose your poison. Broodlord's on the way right now. We don't see any reaction to the Greater Spire from SpeCial. So this might be the situation where he wants to plow through the ground so hard that his Marines can finish them off.
Or use the mobility, because as much as it's not the biggest map, they're both, like you see, like it's from left to right, entire top side for Snute, and then left to right, entire bottom side for SpeCial. If SpeCial thinks he's going to get siege, which by the way, he has kept the creep back very far.
Yeah,
How are you supposed to push without creep? It's going to be very hard. So he might choose to use the mobility of his army with the medivacs if he's under threat. If not, we're finally having a second starport starting now, and then he's going to, I guess, try and buy time until he can get... Look, he's still trying to use the mobility of his army, but Snute perfectly ready with the queens in the main base.
Wow, so many queens. And of course, with those upgrades, doing a great job. The Biles hitting the tanks. The tanks barely able to do anything here at all. And with a couple Broodlords added in, just extra damage from the sky.
Snute loves his queens. Look, he's still making 4 at the time.
Of course.
In a late game like this.
Dude, they don't even cost larva. They're spellcasters for only minerals. Are you kidding me? I can't believe more people don't play like Snute.
It's so good. We call Scarlet the Queen of Blades, but I feel like Snute should be the King of Queens.
The King of Queens.
He always makes so many of them, and he's so good with them.
All right, attacking here on top of the ramp. Some Biles going down, forcing back the bio. Of course, Snute retreating onto his own creep here. A lot of medvacs out there. Red, though, you got to be careful, man. The amount of queens that are around. Oh, this is a story older than time. When you see the Zerg start putting spores up in their main, that's when you know the main is going to die to drops.
Yeah, the thing is, static defense doesn't do so well against the upgraded units, so if SpeCial is able to drop. I'm surprised he hasn't tried to drop more units, to be fair, because Snute's army, like, sure, it's mobile with the roaches and stuff, but he's still kind of standing on the right-hand side of the map. SpeCial's still finding some damage in the main base, though, with all that he has there.
Yeah, he's doing all right with it. These medevacs so red. Oh my god. Actually cancels this 5th base here with the rest of his bio army. A great job SpeCial is doing right now, but it is fragile. The medevacs are all getting very low on health.
Yeah, they're getting trades all the time. Ooh, actually SpeCial might be overextending here. I thought he was getting very aggressive here and doing a lot of damage everywhere, but you don't want to start throwing away 2 huge chunks of units, because then the counter-attack is going to be a real threat.
Look at that, the 1 queen from the side kills all 3 medevacs, so that set of drops is gone. We saw another medevac die off as well. And now SpeCial's down to kind of this one group of army while trying to transition into some Vikings to deal with that anti-air. So, like, I feel like SpeCial was playing fantastically, and bam, out of gas.
Yeah, and
not the resource gas, he has over 1,000 of that, but you know, like, out of steam.
Hydralisks actually being added on, so I guess he does invest a minimum into that little crypto that wasn't doing that well earlier for Snute here. Snute might actually go on the offensive here very soon, but it's just so hard with the creep. One thing that SpeCial has done so well is apply pressure the entire game, so Snute not having any creep up to the middle of the map, it's very hard for him to actually feel like he could move out anytime soon. Can we see the units lost tab actually? Because we're very well, it's very even, right?
Yeah, it's quite even.
But we're very well headed into a split map situation if they keep on trading so closely like they've been.
Yeah,
well, 2 Bulldogs guarding the main base, by the way, that's cute.
Look at this, another big attack actually on the 4th base. There's not a lot of units here. He could potentially snipe this hatchery.
Oh my god. Snute sent too many units to try and defend the main base, so now he's under threat on the right-hand side.
Oh, wow, the Siege doing a great job there. Look at him run forward here. Oh my god, the Vikings come up as well. SpeCial, I mean, he's splitting this army up. It's really hard to play a Deathball type composition like Snute has when someone like SpeCial is here to try to tear you apart from every angle.
And this is the damage that SpeCial has been looking for the entire game. He finally snipes one of the very important bases of Snute, the healthiest one, which is going to force him to transfer drones to the middle of the map. Nuke on the way, an additional Ghost Academy, high sec auto tracking completing. SpeCial is getting everything that he needs. And remember, he's been trading pretty effectively. So he's in a great spot now. And again, it's just so hard for Snute to go across the map and do a push, because then he gets Doom drops on his side of the map.
Yeah.
It's a weird base trade that he barely can ever win.
Yeah, and you know what? As this army loses value, this army that's specialized, right? Like eventually, Snute should be able to kind of clear everything up. Dude, that looks so funny. The power walking. Oh my god. It's just
he's like running like Kaelaris with his knees a little too high.
yeah.
Oh,
there's Kaelaris at IEM Pyeongchang.
He nukes right on top of him. Right on top of himself.
Oh, that's cute too, where he puts it, because you like kind of look like further ahead, right? And then he sets everything up. He cancels the nuke.
So sick. But he's got still more on the way. He's gonna keep on doing this with the siege. Oh, that Viper came out of the wrong lava.
It was born into the wrong world, the poor guy. Okay,
oh,
so
he's trying to get he gets a Viper.
Like, I'm really so impressed with both of these players. Like, Snute keeping it together with how hard this game has been, and even it seems like he gained a lead momentarily there a couple times, but at this point, SpeCial, like, look at the map right now. I mean, Snute's creep spread is getting okay, but he doesn't have many bases. The tech transition that's coming through right now for SpeCial is really quite amazing as well, to keep up all this damage with tank, Marine, Marauder, Medevac.
Yeah.
But then to also, he's getting Liberators ready. He has the Vikings, he's making Ghosts. He's kind of like prepping for that full transition.
Snute unable to creep spread most of the game. I feel like SpeCial is the one that's somehow creep spreading. He's sensor spreading on the map with his sensor towers. That's what he's doing. Like, he's the one applying all the pressure in the world. And now he's assembled what he thinks is one of the best army to face what's in front of him. Actually, the Viking count is still pretty low. Daishi did that as well, by the way. He made 2 Liberators at a time where I thought Vikings might be more helpful. But I mean, SpeCial, he's the one building up a bank now. Because he's got way more mining than Snute has.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't been attacked in like an extremely long amount of time. He's just kind of left alone because he keeps this pressure on. Snute's trying to go for this kind of ultimate composition, but he's got to defend non-stop.
I guess going for Vipers here is a reaction to knowing that there could be Liberator range very soon, Advanced Ballistics, which if you don't have, then these guys actually, they are so scary, right? They siege from so far, they kill everything on the ground super fast. Oh my god, look at SpeCial, he's going to Ravens.
Yeah.
He's making Ravens.
Tasteless. Well, it looks like this army will get cleaned up, but there is a drop that's sent out somewhere. I'm not sure where that's hitting. Okay, getting into the main base now. Almost nothing there. So once again, abusing the composition that Snute has. Look at this. He has to fly all this stuff over there.
SpeCial is making Broodlords like a foolish idea. He's like, if you'll go Broodlords, I'll just pick you apart all over the map. Now threatening the Hive. There is no Queens ready to transfuse. Okay, finally they get there. Ooh, SpeCial not even sure what to attack here. He's dancing around a little bit.
I like the abducts, making sure that he can kill that off, but look at this. Once again, SpeCial hitting this 4th base. He's going to be able to kill it again. All the drones going down as well. Very painful here for Snute.
Snute is known for his defense, but SpeCial is playing so well that he's picking him apart on both sides.
Well, how do you split this army? The one time he really tried to split the army is where SpeCial did almost the most damage. Yeah. But now that he's flying around with all the army together, it's like the damage keeps piling up. He's all over the place. But look, is he going to keep up that style of play? He's still making some bios, some medevacs, but the Viking count is getting up there. The Raven count is getting up there.
Yeah, and he's going to take some very good baby parasitic bomb here to try and win this game here for Snute. Here's Snute's plan. His economy's kind of been wrecked, and he's lost a lot of units through this game, and you know he's been struggling to kind of stay alive, but he's still got a lot of resources on his side of the map. He lost a lot of drones. He said, you know what? I'm going to replace those with army. Look at the army supply, 146 to 118. If he takes a very good fight, if SpeCial overextends one time, that's all it takes. If SpeCial loses his entire army, sure he's building a bank, but it's not big enough for him to replenish his army, or even on time.
Oh, you're quite right about that. Oh, where's that ghost? Okay, there it is, throwing down this nuke.
Oh, no. Oh, we saw it.
Yeah, okay.
Damn. What an eagle eye.
Yeah. That was scary for a moment with the Broodlords kind of going to the north.
And we saw a lot of nukes these days landing, even some friendly fire a little bit.
Occasionally. European Terrans known to nuke their own armies from time to time.
SpeCial once hit a really bad friendly nuke against me a long time ago.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, when I went to Korea on a Shattered Temple.
Shattered Temple.
He was trying to nuke me and
oh my god, Todd, you're showing your age with a map name like that.
that map did not age well.
No, it certainly
Not
did
like
not.
a wine.
Well, I can't wait for it to be in the dream pool at the end of the year. That'll be a fun last season.
So sick. The Cloud Kingdom.
Yeah. Oh, man. Snute, he still has such a deadly army here, but as I watch this Raven count grow, I'm getting a little bit nervous. I love the fact that we're seeing like mass Raven re-enter. It's like, how much damage does that do, 20 or 30?
I'm not sure.
It's something like that, right? It's like super low. Like secret missiles, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
They blow up everything.
Yeah.
But this one, it's like, no, it's fine. You know, we'll just launch even more of them.
Yeah, damage is damage.
Yeah, damage
Right.
is damage.
Even, to be honest, the bring in by the auto turret, I think is really cool. That was always one of the things, like sure, it can get spammed, but doing some light harassment like we saw in the start of the game, or even having that option, right, later on. Like we keep saying, SpeCial is mobile. He's even as well with his Ravens. If he was to fly top right-hand side, drop a bunch of auto turrets, and there is no units there, like, that's again something that can do damage.
If you can get out of there, I mean, that's cash money right there. Spells doing damage is what the late game is oftentimes all about. And look at the comp he's going for now. Like, he has a good amount of ghosts mixed in. He has so many spellcasters. Still a decent amount of bio, so he has some mobility. I don't think he can do many drops anymore, though. It seems like he has to kind of start keeping his things a bit more together as well.
SpeCial's going to go a little bit more ghost heavy, I guess, with the additional barracks that we just saw him make. Ooh, he's threatening on the left-hand side. Snute might eventually end up taking that left-hand side base, in which case SpeCial would have to siege this one and the one on the right-hand side that are more towards the middle and that are kind of like easier to siege. Some good abducts here, by the way.
But is there anything that hits air? Yeah, I guess there's like 2 Hydras there.
Ooh, that parasitic bomb. Oh my god, he's hitting everything.
Yeah, actually, he's going to lose all these medevacs. A fantastic parasitic bomb. A couple snipes coming out right now. Some anti-armor missiles also. Queens pushing forward, pushing everything back.
Damn, these ghosts. They were just in a shootout. They went out there, sniped, and then got back.
There's some brave ones. Here they are.
Kaelaris could get confused about what game we're casting over here.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Are the circles coming in or what? They needed those kills.
It's like, go soak, go soak. It's in the mid lane. Don't get ganked while you're out there, Ghost. Okay, get back to the turret. Okay, there you go.
Burrow on the way here. That's nice, I guess, if he stays behind the spores, because obviously there is Ravens and Wall of Scans. But more, I mean, these spores, they're basically asking to get nuked here. And I think that's what's going to happen.
They're begging to get nuked. You kidding me? They want that nuclear punishment right now, Todd.
I think Snute's going to have to land some fungals there on these ghosts, otherwise they're never going to stop doing this. Like, there's no lockdown to properly do anything against them. What are you supposed to do? Send Vipers forward? They'll get EMP, they'll snipe. Oh my god.
So much. This is so funny to watch that.
Yeah.
It's like, ha-ha! All of your broodlords are orange and yellow health.
But I'll transfuse them. Yeah, but I'll be back with more of that.
It's like, well, I mean, I'm Snute. I'm making 5 queens at a time. I'm pretty sure I can just heal that. In fact, transfuse costs less than the missile, if I'm not mistaken here. Isn't it 75 energy for that missile?
Yeah.
Yeah, 50 for a transfuse. All right, I guess Snute wins that one.
And he's making way more queens. To be honest, I feel like SpeCial's trying to out-Raven the queens here. He's making 3 of them at a time.
That's awesome that we're seeing mass queen.
SpeCial's control in the late game, like I said, for a long time, it used not to be that great, in particular against Protoss, which obviously was very hard, but against Zerg as well. Yeah. He's come a long way. Everybody has, but he in particular, he's one of those guys that plays so much, and he's controlled his game and his attacks everywhere. Has just been so good. Like all of these nukes, they're on points, and he's slowly edging forward. Almost getting to that base.
He's gaining ground with the nukes, but each nuke is killing like 1 creep tumor. Just to clear that up. Like these spores that are begging to be nuked are not actually getting nuked. Snute isn't allowing it. All right,
look at these guys.
More and more snipes coming out.
They're reigning supreme. Nothing is really denying them, and now he's gonna boost into the main base. Snute's gonna have to go run all the way around, and SpeCial is always using that in knowing that Snute's not gonna be looking at his main army to try and make something happen against it in the meantime.
Look at that.
2 more nukes just completed.
Look, he might even be able to get the hive here, really. Which, you know, that's good. He's gonna have to remake it because he needs Vipers.
It would take a long time as well.
Yeah.
There, then hive.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they've been asking for it, here it is.
Oh no! Oh my god, oh my god. Okay. Well, it's like, haha! All of your broodlords are once again orange! I will beat you eventually with this.
Sport's trying to run away, but SpeCial keeps on gaining rounds.
Yeah. Eventually he'll push him back, and there's not going to be anything left over.
We're almost in the term for this. Like, it's definitely not a Mexican standoff. What is it?
A Norwegian standoff?
A Dorito siege.
Well, gotta
embrace the memes. Raise the Dorito.
No, you got to show your support for Juanito, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, Snute trying to expand here once again. And, of course, SpeCial has so much of the map. There's, like, one base that isn't taken at the moment. Look at that, sieging the gas from the low ground. Good.
He's going to take that base, by the way. It's the other side of the map. This is supposed to be Snute.
There's creep in the way, though.
It is his now.
Well,
he's going to clean that.
Shortly.
Yeah. That's really cool, actually, that SpeCial even goes for that. I guess, like, minerals is something that you're going to have in surplus at this stage in the game, whereas gas is what should be lacking eventually. Can we see the resources lost again, like with the units?
Ooh.
So more gas was actually lost by SpeCial and more minerals.
Yeah, he's actually lost more, but the thing is he's sucking up more as well.
Yeah.
I wonder what the army value is right now, actually.
He's had an income advantage the entire game. SpeCial might actually mine out earlier. I think that's Snute's plan at this stage, is to let SpeCial mine out and then win with his superior economy and army eventually. Just never take a known cost-effective fight, which, I mean, he's been on the edge of doing the entire game.
So far, it's kind of working.
Yeah, this wasn't worth it at all. A nuke plus a ghost was lost here doing nothing. So Snute's just gonna win. Oh my god, finally these guys get punished.
Good abducts right there. Several of the ghosts falling out.
Oh.
All right, the Spellcaster army's coming.
Is there Infestor still? Where are the queens?
No, actually. Flying
They're
over
on the
all
smoke
these
rank.
though. He's got to be careful about that. Oh my god. Well, finally he actually ends up taking out a lot. The Fungal does go down right there. Even some of the Ravens taking
actually,
shots.
A lot more is going to die, but I mean, the damage has been dealt. Snute barely with any bank behind his SpeCial, still trying to expand over here. He starts a planetary fortress.
Oh my god, he's going to repair that until the planetary finishes to hold off the queens.
And SpeCial, again, is mining way more. He sniped the base on the left-hand side. He's got the superior economy. He's the one with the bank. This might have been the breaking point here. Snute struggling to stay in this game. He's still got a big army. I guess he's going to have to make something work with the Vipers in particular. He needs to send some sick parasite bomb
how many Vipers does he have left? Because he doesn't have a hive. He never remade.
Oh, yeah, actually.
He has 6. So, like, those
if he sends these forwards and they die, it's almost over.
Almost.
Maybe send the Corruptors first so they soak some damage.
By the way, Snute has like 100 minerals and 87 gas, so definitely getting a little bit low as far as bank goes. That's about all he has, but his army is still something that can fight. Especially considering he picked off some of the ghosts. He did some damage to Vikings and Ravens, but more on the way. SpeCial still with pretty decent economy, to be honest.
Still sieging. He's been sieging this entire game. Almost 30 minutes in. There's barely been 1 minute without action, Artosis.
It has been a crazy game, really showing how closely matched these two players are. Oh my god, awesome interference drones going down, launching the missiles as well. Getting so many of these into the red.
Ooh, Snute's trying to keep as much army alive as he can here. White's trying to defend. SpeCial is sieging with an offensive base in the planetary fortress. I never thought I'd see this.
Just pushing right forward here. The Vikings getting some real value at the moment. Parasitic bomb going down.
I did say he was going to siege that location, but I didn't think that was going to be how. And Snute running out of units.
Snipe goes down. Some of these Broodlords kept alive. The Broodlords actually starting to chunk through some of this army. More missiles coming down. Almost nothing left here for Snute, though.
His army supply is plummeting right now. He's down to his last few units. The Queen by themselves can't really do too much. Liberators left over. Cyclones even joining the fight.
Yeah,
as well as 2 Marauders. How did these guys get here? Like he's remaking some bio somehow.
God, just crazy fights all over the place. GG. And SpeCial takes just an unbelievably epic game 1.
Yeah, that was non-stop action, high speed, high octane.
Yeah.
And lots of attacks from him.
That game had some nitro in its gas tank, okay? That was a wild one. The fact that we are seeing that many missiles come out, just ridiculous. I love how he kept, like, missiling everything. It's, like, all in the orange. What does that do? Snute's like, well, I guess I have to pull back and heal. Like, until eventually he did start blowing up some units.
It's very rare. Not many players could break Snute like this when he's, especially on a map like that. Like sure, like the bases, they're spread out from left to right, kind of making them hard to defend between the main base and the fourth base.
Yeah.
However, he is that guy that will defend his attacks. He is that guy that will split properly and make sure he doesn't take damage and then win a split map situation.
Yeah.
But now, not quite able to do that. SpeCial just played out of his mind and wins the first map.
The amount that he really abused everything that was going on there is really quite staggering.
I guess with the Infestors change and the Fungal in particular, it's very hard to still go for Infestors to get the proper lockdown right, so you can then corrosive bite. That was the whole point of the build before, whereas now, the units that are Fungal, they're slowed, but they're not you know, held in place, so it's much harder to make that work. That may be why Snute didn't go for Infestors for the longest time.
He only had a few in there. I mean, we did see one really good Fungal on the Vikings. That's definitely something that occurred. But I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen here in game number 2.
I think Fungal Parasitic Bomb should almost be the goal. Then again, I guess you have to hope that the Vikings are going to be clumped up, which SpeCial wouldn't let happen.
Well, I think Parasitic Bomb is just such a good spell in these types of situations if you can get it off. But it's tough, right? Because he has all these Vikings with great upgrades ready to snipe everything.
Maybe Corruptors at the front to tank a few of those damage because they're a lot more expandable in a way. Like you don't want to send Vipers forward and then they use Parasitic Bomb and then they die. You want to send them back, get some more energy.
It's very true. You know what? If you have those up in the front trying to tank too, like if you look at all the ranges and where your screen has to be for what you're microing as a Terran player, it becomes very difficult to snipe the incoming, you know, spells of the Viper. So definitely something to take into consideration there. But anyways, game number 2 between these two titans of the non-Korean scene begins in the bottom left of Blackpink. It is SpeCial. And in the top right, our Norwegian Zerg, it's Snute. Now, the winner of this, if I'm not mistaken, goes up against Bunny next to see who advances into the round of 24, which is so snacked. You got that Dorito thing in my head. Of course, this tournament is sponsored by Pringles.
Yeah, we got the better snack.
Delicious. Delicious Pringles. But look.
It's doable for either of them, right?
It's totally doable. In fact, I favor both these players over Bunny slightly.
Really?
Yeah. Like, Bunny's a great player. He really is. But I think Snute and SpeCial are actually both better than Bunny, in my opinion.
You don't think Snute would be a little bit worn out if he has to face Daeshi, then SpeCial, then Bunny? Or do you think he gets like some sick warm-up that he would be?
Well, the way these games are going. But the thing is, Snute has always kind of played like this. Like, he was the Swarm Host King. He was like one of the only guys who actually went Swarm Host even, you know, against Terran when they went bio or like, you know.
Well, after Firecake and Stefano, he was top 3.
He was definitely a Swarm Host type of guy, but I think he has that kind of stamina, I guess. You know?
Resilience.
Yeah, he does.
Did say earlier, though, that this kind of game can be a little bit exhausting.
Well, it certainly is exhausting.
It's exhausting to watch.
It's exhausting to cast. We're the real heroes here. And we're all advancing.
I don't know about that. I would say SpeCial was the impressive one for sure in the previous game. Yeah, that was pretty cool actually to see that. Like, because a lot of the time, when this kind of game happens and players start splitting the map, it's very easy to say, okay, I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Let's split the map, let's mine it out, and then we'll see who has the better, I guess, control with the maxed out army. And yeah, overall replenishing. Like macro is not really that relevant. I guess it's more like assembling the right army and then controlling it right, but not SpeCial. He was like, you want to go for Broodlords? All right, I'm going to drop you all over the place. I'm going to make Broodlords literally look like the worst choice in the game.
Yeah.
And even before there were many of them, he was still being very mobile and making a lot happen.
Whoa. Got one lane so far. I can't believe those lanes all lived. So only one lane going down. Standard stuff. Another nice engineering bay block. Now, Snute against Daeshi just took the other third. But in the previous game on Catalyst, decided that that third was important enough that he had to make his hatchery at like 550 minerals or so. So let's see what he wants to do with this. Where does he make his third? Does he wait for enough lings to clear that?
Ooh, Snute's trying to make something happen across the map. Metabolic Boost is about to finish here, and he's trying to catch SpeCial off guard. If he catches those first 2 Hellions, and kills them, it could be very good, but it doesn't have that many links, to be honest.
It's not that many, but he might... Oh, that's 2 fresh mules. It's like a big deal if you can get those. The 2 Hellions trying to join up, though. Looks like Special should be okay here.
He was trying to catch the Hellions, but Special on point with paying attention.
Yeah. That could have been great, but it wasn't much anything.
It was terrible. One of these links was like, he attacked, he was like, tag the Urit.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. You need to kill the Hellion.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is so sick. Special guarding one of the Expos with the eBay and the other one with the Reaper.
Oh, might have been a bit of a mistake there. Anyways, the 3rd base is pretty late for Snute, really.
Yeah, and that hatchery is not going to be finished maybe by the time the siege begins with a lot of Hellions, with maybe he's making Liberators, so either he goes for the drone line or he tries to siege with it to prevent the Queens from doing a lot there.
Well, that's a good point, because the creep spread is nowhere so far. So like slow Queens trying to walk into a Liberation Zone to clear it out, you think that would work?
Yeah, not really.
Probably not. I mean, the amount of Queens Snute makes, possibly, but that could be a good move.
Up to how many is he? 3 right now? 5? Oh, okay. With 2 more on the way. Okay, that's a lot of Queens. Actually.
Well, that's
the king of Queens.
Always at least 7. 7 of kind Queens, man.
Does that beat a Royal Flush?
That beats a Royal Flush. It also gets you kicked out. Cheating. Look, you don't even know anything about poker, man. Come on. All right, so the Liberator going to come in for harassment rather than that siege move we were talking about. Oh, sick catch here by Snute. The Hellions really not getting anything done.
Yeah, that gets shut down pretty easily.
Good defense. I feel like the strength of the defense we have seen here has kind of made up for the fact that he was so late getting into his 3rd base. So great job there by Snute.
We could be heading into a very different kind of game now.
Yeah.
That Snute has had this defense, this very convincing defense just now, because it's not like Special is going to commit to a lot of units on 2 bases. No, he did go for the 3rd CC. So now this almost certainly allows Snute to go for a lot of drones, more tech, an easier 4th base, which we've always seen Snute being so good at this style, right?
Yeah.
Liquid Red was the original Game of Drones guy, right?
Yeah.
Which, if you let drone up, would always win the game almost. Whereas Snute, he was kind of the second coming of that.
Yeah.
And one of his first big tournaments that he won, I think, was over in the UK, where he beat Sting in the finals. And almost every game was similar. He rushed up to 75 drones, got away with it, destroyed Sting, who back then was one of the top Terrans. And he's still, to this day, kind of trying to apply that style, which, I mean, a lot of Zergs, that's their dream, right? You go up to 8, 10 gases, and that's when really, like, Zerg kicks into full gear and is super scary.
Well, Snute would be the epitome of that. And having this type of map control, we see where his creep is already headed to. He's, of course, really focusing in that top area of the map near 12. He's going to get a lot of creep up there. We saw this also against Daishi, really pushing the creep to make sure that his 3rd and 4th are defended. But here comes that 2-tank push. Definitely a very popular move. Baneling speed has started, but we don't have roaches. We only have Queens without the creep spread as far as he wants it.
It is
and
Banelings.
Lings.
Was he not morphing Banelings?
Yeah, well, he doesn't have Baneling speed yet either.
Yeah,
Ooh, is he too close here? I think we sieged up a little bit too close, to be honest.
Ooh, maybe should have let the Queen take some more damage first and foremost.
Yeah.
There, but Snute loses a lot of links here in that exchange.
All right, lifts up everything here. Gonna fly over the Queens, it looks like. Maybe go towards that main base. Oh man, imagine those Queens were still there.
Yeah. And an Overlord.
Ooh.
I guess. Ooh.
That would have been dead.
He sees one.
Yeah, he's gonna send his Lings back into the main base to deal with this. He's making some Hydras now as well.
And Hive actually starting here behind this. I think he got spotted by this can. Special.
Yeah, he sees. Special sees what's going on, and these medevacs are a little bit caught there. Another drop going down in the natural. But with the Hydras out, when someone's going to Hydra Link Bane and they start to get their Hydras around, these drops do not last for that much longer. So where does Special go from here? He's adding a 2nd factor already. Very good timing with that. And he needs to get into a massive siege tank push. But I believe he has only 1 siege tank right now. The 2nd one going to be popping out just now. I don't know if he's going to really hit this in time. I guess the Spire didn't get started, though.
Yeah, Ultralis Cavern might be in the plans here. He's getting melee right now. +1 is Snute, as well as Carapace level 2. I love those medivacs trapped at the top, by the way. He might have to pick his poison once again, which definitely would be Queens or Queens. Time around.
Oh, well,
Hydra's,
this side.
He goes for the Queens.
Okay. I feel bad for all these races that don't have recall, man.
Yeah.
So I just recall.
Everybody needs to have it, you know? Like some sort of built-in Nidus.
Yeah, I mean, you come from a game just like that. You scrub your armies in the wrong place. You're just like, hey, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Down portal.
The Blade Master kills
IEM
everything
Champ
for you
over
out
here
there.
with his down portals, man. Bring those steam tanks home, Todd.
Those were not the things that won me the games. And yeah, Ultralis Cavern going down immediately, as well as Vipers.
Well, that's where the siege tank push, like, normally against Ling Hydra Bane, you really want to hit a massive siege tank push before the Hive Tech really kicks in. But this Hive Tech is coming along rather quickly. The creep spread is out far enough. It doesn't seem to me like he's going to be able to get the damage he needs in. So I feel like for SpeCial here, this game will probably go pretty long.
Unless he chooses to do some crazy siege like in the previous game, but I just don't see it working here. Especially, I mean, the creep here is already a lot more subsequent than in the previous game. SpeCial is still trying to be active in multiple places at once, but Snute splitting perfectly so far this game. Yeah. Really minimizing the damage so well. Now Chitinous Plating is going to start +2 melee and +3 Carapace, which is SpeCial properly getting ready for the Ultras right now. Like, does he? I don't think he even realizes that how quickly they're going to come and how many of those there are going to be. Like, he did go for the Ghost Academy, but we don't have many Liberators. I guess he's getting Marauders, so he's going to rely on Snipes mostly to try and deal with this, but against that many Banelings,
you can use it for a little bit. Like, you can play with Marine Marauder Medevac for a little bit against this. I don't like it that much. He has an okay amount of siege tanks, but you're right. He has to get into Liberators, and not just off one starport. And obviously, he will need quite a few Ghosts coming up as well. Look at that army, though. God. Snute looking fantastic right now. The siege tank's in great spots, but wow, the Vipers really utilizing some of their spells here. Everything gets pushed back.
Look at the production tab for Snute. It's like Christmas game early. Adrenal glands, all of these upgrades, some Ultras as well. And he's got a good guys in front.
I was going to say, on the first day of Hive Tech, my spawning pool gave to me adrenal glands in a pear tree. I could make a whole song like that. That'd be a good one. All right, pushing up right now. A lot of siege tanks here. The Viper's coming forward. A good blinding cloud on that tank. Oh, all the tanks going to get wiped out here that are on the high ground at least.
This army complements itself so well. Yeah. Like the Banelings at the front, they don't die that fast. They do a lot of damage. That Ultras still doing some tanking. The Hydralisk looking to try and connect, and Snute's supply is just maxed out all the time. Yeah. Especially struggling. He's losing a lot of units and he's having a harder time replenishing them.
And you know what? The cool thing about this this like tech that he has out is that the minerals are very useful when you're playing, right? Like if you're looking at the air type army, you look at the minerals, you're like, well, I can make Queens and Static D, and that's it. But here, even the Lings become very, very valuable with those the Ultras in there.
I don't know if that was intentional, but Snute actually didn't have muscular augments. He only had Bruce Spine, so he moved up creep just now, and he was like, my Hydras are very slow. Yeah, like, what's going on? So he started that.
It's like, when did this happen? I didn't read those patch notes.
3 Ghosts at a time being made. So I guess SpeCial wants to rely on Ghosts and tanks to try and deal with the Ultras that he's going to have to face, which so far, there hasn't been that many Ultras, to be fair. It's been just a few of them at the front to try and do some tanking against those damage. Still 12 Queens, though, from Snute.
Yeah, well, I mean, as we've seen from famous games in the past, when you have that many transfuses, all you need is a single Ultra, and he has 2, so he's got 1 to spare.
The Suppy Ultra.
That's right. You know the one.
16 Morlings being added on. Spores, Snute, a little bit fed up with the multi-pronged harassment and dropped from SpeCial here. That's a lot of Hydras, though. Like, it's weird because this many Hydralisks, it's almost supposed to be bad and counterproductive in a way, but if you have Vipers with them to land the blinding clouds, that DPS is actually insane whenever you go for the attacks. And like, if you look at the composition, like, it makes sense what Snute's getting. That many Banelings, Ultras, a lot of Hydras behind it, and 4 Vipers.
Yeah, the Vipers are going to be very valuable here. But look, the Snipes are starting up. Has to move back.
It's so hard to play against Ghost with Vipers, I have to say. Like, what is he supposed to do without a fungal? And even with the current fungal, like if he sends the Vipers forward, they might get sniped, they might get EMP'd. There is no proper lockdown. There's no Storm Bolts to land on this Ghost to really lock them down and kill them all.
Gosh, no Town Portal, no Storm Bolt. Seems like an inferior game. All right, well, a nice snipe right there, and actually picks up.
Wait, there's no anti-air there. Oh, the struggle, he has to do so much to kill this.
Yeah, doesn't really have the anti-air up there in position. Nice little siege up with this Liberator. You know, I find it really interesting that he's only made 2 Ultras with this army.
Yeah.
Because obviously he can afford a lot more Ultras. He could make quite a few.
When I saw the upgrades, I was like, he's just going to mass Ultras and kill him. But no, actually not at all. He's using those to tank at the front. Now adding 4 more with plus 3 missile as well. Spire on the way. And Snute, 73 walkers against the 80 of SpeCial.
Huh.
What's the units lost again this time? Oof. Almost equal on the minerals, at least.
Pretty close.
Okay, these units are not going anywhere.
No, they're having a little bit of a hard time there. Backs up far enough that Snute does turn around, goes back to his own creep.
It's nuke time, Artosis. Personal cloaking on the way as well. The fact that Ghosts now come out with 75 energy, by the way, is not just helpful against Protoss, right? Ghost, they can cloak for longer against Zerg.
Yeah, and they get more snipes. There you go.
And EMPs, which is the last thing almost that we see against Zerg a lot of the time.
Yeah, but it can be very good. You EMP some infestors, or
if you catch 4 Vipers in an EMP, like you're happy to let that Ghost die right after.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt about that. And then, of course, they go home and suck the life out of an extractor that is no longer being used, and they're back up, ready to go.
All right, where is he going to nuke, though? I guess the right-hand side base, maybe, or the top one? Ooh, Snute's actually choosing to move off grid here to go for a massive attack. He's special already. He was missing some of his units. He uses a lot of snipes here on these Overseers to try and keep his Ghost cloak, but 1 or 2 of these Overseers, rather, survive.
More Overseers coming from the other side as well. So much damage being dealt. Some of these Ultras really low in the red health. He's got to pick those ones off.
And a Snute is on the chase, SpeCial, trying to kite his way out of this one. Those Ultras just not dying the whole time.
God, they really do live for a long time, don't they? Backing up. Most of the Ultras going down. 1 left over here. It should be able to escape as it gets onto the creep.
SpeCial actually going for a little bit of a chase here himself. He's going to send Snute back home, but again, that's felt like a better trade for Snute. As much as in the previous game, you know, I called it's going to be some sort of split map, and then SpeCial got ahead, and then we didn't even get to this point when, you know, where they split the map in 2 parts and mine it out. It's feeling the same way this game, but the other way around. Where Snute is just dealt so well with his army that he may be able to expand better from there. He's going to keep up with the creep spread. And he's the one winning the slow war here.
I think Snute is in exactly the composition he wants, and absolutely SpeCial's not. He's having such a hard time here. He's got a great Sim City to help block some of this off. The Ultra running forward, but the Siege Tank's definitely shelling, doing a lot of damage. Nice abduct there, pulling one forward. The Ultra's getting on top of the other one as Hydra's bust up the ramp. This might be the end of this game now.
Yeah, Snute perfect on his upgrades. Gets the map number 2 here. Really good job by him. That composition, I have to say. I was really tunnel visioned into the Ultra Discover and thinking he's just going to mass these Ultras, but that actually would have been maybe even worse than what he did now.
Yeah, he stayed very heavy Hydra for a little bit once his 3-3 finished up, and he kind of stabilized everything, got those extra Ultras. Thing is, if you make a lot of Ultras and your opponent realizes what's going on, they can go super heavily into things like Ghosts and really punish you for that. So Snute was being quite careful. SpeCial, he stayed on Marines, he stayed on Marauders, he stayed on Siege Tanks. And after Snute really kind of felt that out, that Ultralisk ad at the end that was it. That was the finishing blow.
It can be a big risk as well, right? Like, it's very hard to usually finish a Terran on their side of the map just because they can kite. Their 4th base is going to be a planetary fortress usually, which can be repaired. So if you attack that with Ultras and it doesn't work, you're like super far behind. So Snute,
how many times do we see Zergs lose like that, right?
Yeah, and we've seen many throws.
Yeah.
Many of them.
You can see Major, he's really thinking about that last game, not going how he wanted it.
I think you mean SpeCial.
Okay, I mean Windy. I mean Ghosty Terran. I mean Princess. I mean Brittany. I mean the man of many names.
How many nicknames has he had?
Like 25 at least.
Do you know that TV show, The Chameleon?
No, I don't, but that would be a good name for him. Maybe that'll be what he changes to next.
Actually, he's kept special for a while. He could have changed, I think, this year.
Well, I mean, he switched it over knowing that his skill level is at such a place that he was going to have a breakout. Like, he is the best non-Korean Terran. No one can really argue that, I think. I mean, there's quite a few really strong ones right now, but his results are head and shoulders above basically everybody. So,
top 4 at the global finals, I think that's kind of hard to beat that.
Yeah, and then, wait, Leipzig he was top 4, right? Yeah. And then IEM Pyeongchang he was top 4. And in this group right now, if he beats Snute in the next game, he's top 4. But, I mean, you got to go a lot further than that to keep this record alive.
Yeah. SpeCial really has come a long way, and he's one of those, I would say, most hardworking and motivated players all the time. Like, you always hear about, you know, some top pros, they sometimes get a little bit complacent, start playing other games and stuff. Not really SpeCial, as far as I know. He's always that guy.
Dude, it's StarCraft and Pokemon. That's it.
I feel like the second game a lot more as a troll than anything else, right?
He's actually quite a good Pokemon player, but yeah, he does.
He's a much better StarCraft player, I believe.
Well, I mean that's for certain.
And he has such an interesting approach as well, where he truly idolizes the Korean Terrans, TY in particular. They're very good friends. They talk strategy all the time. They have a unique relationship, I would say. Not many non-Korean players are as close to a Korean player and exchanging strategies and build orders as SpeCial with TY, I think.
That's certainly the case, but really all the top Korean pros really like SpeCial. They play with him a lot, they hit him on the ladder a lot, they all talk together a lot. He's actually an extremely likable guy, I have to say. I've known him for forever back in Brood, where I played with him a lot. So he's likable. You talk with him, he's a super friendly guy, hardworking, as you say. Very smart in the way he looks at games and tries to get better. Yeah, I mean,
I actually thought the BlizzCon Global Finals, the semifinals, were actually very unfortunate for him in a way, because he likes to exchange build orders with TY. Yeah. But TY was playing in the second semifinals. So he couldn't actually use TY's build, which he would have liked to in that first semifinals when he played against Su.
That's a really good point.
So he ended up using different builds, didn't go so well for him, and then sadly TY lost as well in other semis.
I think that what you say kind of shows the type of person he is as well. His friend, who he got build orders from, is going to be using said build orders, and their opponents probably know it. So he doesn't use it. He uses lesser strategies and maybe is punished for this in losing.
But he's not going to betray a friend. Etiquette.
Yeah, and he has it in spades. So here we go, game number 3. This is definitely one of the best series that we have had so far here at IEM Katowice, which, by the way, is only getting started. State number 2 of 6. Wow! What do you have to say about that, Todd?
It's so good, man. I cannot wait for all the games.
Backwater LE in the bottom right. Our Terran from Mexico. It is SpeCial. In the top left, our Zerg from Norway, it's Snute. Of course, the player who loses here is out of the tournament, which doesn't feel right with how good they're playing. They're both playing some fantastic StarCraft here today.
And first and foremost, in terms of build orders there, we have Snute once again going for the pull first, very, very safe. And SpeCial going for the wall of at his natural. I guess like the only thing that this is bad or unsafe against is some sort of road Ravager rush, which Snute is not known at all. Like, he's almost the last guy you would expect to ever do this, really. So I like that SpeCial went for that. Obviously, he's not going to get punished for it for now. Let's look at the map though, because we've seen almost like, in a way, split map situations where, you know, they both take a lot of bases and then try to siege one another. The third and fourth base can be a little bit in a weird position, right? Like, depending, I guess you're going to take the pocket one as a third, but the fourth base is like the
probably that one, right?
I guess it's not that hard to take, just because the natural and third base shouldn't be that hard to defend, unless, I mean, we could be seeing drops, stuff like that, even from the Zerg. It usually doesn't really happen very often, but SpeCial usually would be the one trying to drop into Snute's third base. That'd be the more exposed points if Snute takes the pocket expansion.
Yeah, it's definitely quite exposed in that way. Like,
the fifth base is hard to take though. I would say.
Well,
Especially for
a bunch of the bases are kind of in the middle and easy to attack. So the game could just... The game will likely be lower economy than Game 1, no matter what. Blackpink has like 1 million bases and kind of easy to take them, except in the very corners. But I mean, Catalyst was lower economy, at least for Snute, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first Reaper comes in. Poking around a little, we'll see what it gets done. Not really the most important or impactful thing in the game normally.
Oh, shoot, there's not a queen here.
Whoa. Oh! Oh!
So
The
close.
drone almost blocked it.
Suicide and Reaper just to prove a point.
Oh!
Get at least one drone.
Oh my god.
Oh, it gets out. Great micro by Snute.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why does it look so easy when these guys do this and like I lose like 3 probes?
Yeah, no,
first Reaper and he gets out with 1 HP.
Oh, because you're a Protoss player and like that's actually what happens.
I'm not sure. But I watch these top Protosses, they defend a whole lot better as well. The right answer was because I'm terrible.
Well, I definitely think that about you, Todd. Don't worry.
What does that say about you?
What does it, indeed? So, some Hellions on the way. The starport coming up as well. See how quickly he takes his third base here. Doesn't
Putting
have
the
that double
starport
gas.
there is like, it's almost forward, right? It's going to get quicker into the action, whatever he makes from it.
That is kind of interesting.
Instead
isn't
of putting it in the main.
I wonder, like, I mean, maybe it was just the SCV that he grabbed was right there. Yeah, I guess the medevac, if he's going for a medevac right away, it'll be able to pop out there.
I mean, it's such a different map than most maps, right? You have so much space around the natural base that you can make all of your units there, and then everything gets there quicker in the offense.
This is interesting. It looks like a mine drop actually going to be coming up.
Yeah, we haven't seen that in a while. The early game Zerg detection is usually only going to be a spore unless you can rush for an overseer, which here is not the case. So,
well, I mean, how much damage will he get done here? I guess if you're poking the front with Hellions and Reapers, you have a chance for them to not really see the initial drop coming in. And if you get a big connection, that obviously is huge.
there's a lot of drones there.
Yeah, quite a few. 19.
To be honest, everybody got really good at pulling walkers away when those Widow Mines burrow. But SpeCial has to sell this somehow. He has to be active at the front at the same time. He's just going to go for the drop by himself.
Yeah, I guess he just goes for it.
Oh my god. Ooh, okay. Snute, he almost messed up a lot worse than this.
Yeah.
There was so many, there was like 12 drones on the left side by themselves. So this gets cleaned up.
I mean, 4 drones, and he got a little chunk of Zerglings in there as well. So, I mean, it wasn't completely bad. It wasn't a complete waste. Oh, he lost the medevac, though. I didn't notice that. Okay.
I mean, any drones that you can kill, really, for early game units that you can trade for them is worth it. Because, again, Zerg, they have to replenish that. Then they can make attacking units as well. Snute is making 14 links and 1 more roach.
Oh, he's going for it, man.
He wants to go for an attack there. I mentioned this, like, he's not the guy that you expect this kind of attack out of. Now SpeCial sees these roaches. He's going to start to build up some defense here.
Yeah.
He has a weirdly big wall, actually, because of where he made his buildings.
It's true, and his production is all here. So if Snute were to break in, you can win the game right there because all their production, right? Like, you can't pull up into your main base because all your buildings are down south. But he has siege tanks already. So
why didn't he siege it on the, like, further back, or?
I think that's an... Well, I mean, you're going to be able to at least bile the front buildings without getting hit by the siege tank.
Yeah. But I'm worried that the... Yeah, look, they're going to bite.
Oh, yeah, the first tank just goes down instantly, so that's pretty painful.
He could have moved that a little bit more to the right side. Now the tank's still doing a lot of damage. I don't think that tank is bileable.
Yeah, he can't quite bile that one. I don't. Maybe if you walk them all the way up so they were touching the racks.
But then these units are going to die because there's units plus the tank attacking them.
Still, though, this is some pretty good damage so far.
Yeah, and
he's really harassing. He might stop Stem.
Snute is droning up like a madman behind this while still doing damage here. If the tanks go too far forwards, they get bites. If they stay too far backwards, then Snute is using corrosive bile on the buildings.
Yeah.
Now Steam, did it complete?
Wow, that is a huge win right there. If you don't have Stem, that's as bad as it can get. And look at that, he gets the bile on the tank now that he killed off that barracks. Oh, he somehow didn't kill it. He didn't launch all his biles at the same time. Great repair here.
Yeah, Snute messing up here a little bit with this. Yeah. He's going to get 1 more depot by the look of things.
But this was, like, extremely, extremely good. Where do you go now as SpeCial? Because SpeCial needs to be able to, especially against this Roach Ravager type of play, keep the pressure on with his bile. But his Stem is going to be so late
He doesn't even have a tech lab.
He can't do anything.
He has no tech lab on the barracks right now.
Yeah.
Steam hasn't started at the 7th minute. He might have to be the one to take things super slow. And I mean, Snute knows that, by the way. Like, he fully realized that he cancels Steam right now, so Snute is so comfortable to actually make an incredible amount of drones. He's already on 76. Take a 4th base, secure that easily. Yeah. That's going to be his comfort zone here, truly.
Yeah. He is going to be able to easily get into whatever he wants. He has such a healthy amount of Roaches and Ravagers on the way here. He has his upgrades coming. Just the lack of stim is... Without stim, you can't do anything. What are you supposed to do? You're going to drop Marines that can't stim? And then what are you going to do? Pick them up when the units come? Yeah. That is what you're going to do.
And that sounds kind of bad.
It's pretty bad. It does. I mean, this is a dire situation here for a Mexican Terran.
I guess he might be forced to play super slow. Just take that 4th base, secure that 5th base, try to do some harassment. Maybe with the Liberators that he's getting right now, build up a big army and then accept that it's going to be a slower game than before.
And look, he's straight up going into the 2nd factory. It's just like, okay, well, he needs more tech units in here because there is no pressure to be put on. So the economy of Snute is exactly precisely where he wants it. He's getting all of his upgrades in great time. Look at the Hive, how quickly he's able to get this Hive. The Spire's starting at the same time as well, so he's going to go directly to Broodlord play.
Snute made everything, by the way. He made a Hydra, then a Baling Nest. He had the Roach Warren the whole time. So as far as options go, he has everything. He's got the Infestation Pit. Now he's getting the Spire. He literally could just make sure he knows exactly what he's up against and counter it properly, like he did in the previous game. Just build up the perfect composition to face what SpeCial has.
Just gets all the things, man.
Great scan, by the way, by SpeCial. Seeing the timing on that Spire, he should be able to time that the Hive started about the same time.
Yeah.
And know in around how long that's going to be done. And I mean, out of Snute, you see a Hive, you see a Spire, you know what's coming. It's going to be those big Broodlords.
Yeah. But the thing is, again, no pressure. Nothing. Like, this is the first pressure that we've seen put on since the mine drop, right? Doesn't do anything for him there. So this is very, very tough because Snute is completely uninhibited. A couple empty medevacs rallied to where the Liberators rallied to.
SpeCial is actually moving out. I guess Steam Pack's about to finish. He's ready to get into action.
How many tanks does he have? 4 with that?
7.
Oh my god, that is a lot of siege tanks.
And he's very good with tanks and at sieging. We've seen him so many times across every matchup. I think he might try to set up on the low grounds around that top right-hand side base if he can, but there is creep so far out here.
All right, gonna stim and run back right now. Snute closing, getting on top of everything. The Liberators get set up. They actually don't die. Still a healthy amount of siege tanks left over here. The Marines...
Mule and repair that.
The Marines showing off that Stim has finally finished 10 minutes into the game.
It's very hard to run in there and use Corrosive Bite on everything and then pull back because like you still lose a lot of units, right? That's a lot of tanks together. That firepower is insane.
He doesn't have a super long amount of time. We see that Greater Spire halfway done right now.
SpeCial is bringing reinforcement. That siege is actually crazy scary.
Yeah.
Because they aren't even upgrades right now.
Yeah, 1-1 against 1-1. Here he goes. I mean, Snute with a huge concave trying to get in here. Bile's starting to land down. Some of the tanks going down. Looks like both Liberators will be picked off. Snute with so many units. He is going to go ahead and clean this.
Snute swarming this attack here, defending that siege. Great Blinding Cloud actually, landing on 3 of the tanks. Really negating that damage nicely. SpeCial is going to be false back here for now, but this is what I was talking about. Snute is up to 4 bases, and it might be, I mean, obviously you have to take a 5th here eventually, right? Yeah. This might be getting tricky here real soon against the mobility of SpeCial and how good he's been with those medevac drops. You also can expect SpeCial not to miss any beat with the production. Like supply-wise, he's actually ahead right now. He's always kept up, so it's not like he's ever going to go up in minerals and, you know, fall really far behind. Finally, we had the +2 carapace and +1 melee finishing for Snute, but look at SpeCial. He's got 2-2 about to finish, concussive shells, vehicle weapons, and he's already adding 2 starports as well, knowing that he's going to have the mobility of his units to work with up until the point he gets up to, you know, Vikings, Ghosts to deal with the Broodlords. And that 5th base, is it ever going to happen?
Well, that is where it gets a little bit tough. We see this base actually being taken since this is where his army is, this is where his creep spread is at right now.
But then all SpeCial has to do is emphasize the drop on the left-hand side a lot more. Actually, he's far out on the map right now. Snute about ready to engage into this army.
All right, a yank forward right there on the medevac, not really doing anything. Maybe a missed spell right there. Attacking into this little choke point, but looks like SpeCial wants to back up. Still keeping a high supply, keeping a dangerous army, but with the Broodlords out and more Broodlords certainly going to be on the way, I mean, this game is going to get pretty crazy.
Yeah, Snute, he's so patient, but he has to be, right? Like, it's not like he can attack into this and then go for a counter-attack. Then SpeCial will probably have enough. And again, the counter-attack is always so scary.
Yeah.
It's not like you can get like a ton of spines as well, right? He doesn't quite have the minerals for it. So, I mean, for him on the left-hand side to be able to defend properly, he always has to be careful, make sure he keeps on crease shredding, have enough queens and units there.
Hey, Ravens are on the way. Are we going to see that same type of game here on Backwater?
Wow.
Definitely could be.
I thought Daishi against Snute was a really good series, but this is even better, I think.
Yeah, it really... Well, I mean, game 1, Daishi versus Snute was super
Yeah, it was
epic
so
and awesome.
special that, like... It was really a unique game, right?
Yeah.
Of like that whole dance that they did, but I mean...
It was beautifully done, too.
Yeah.
Well, here we see Snute actually pushing forward. It loses that Viper. Doesn't get a spell off with it right there. Huge amount of units actually coming in. Of course, oh, another little drop move it looks like this probably was. Taking out some of the drones here.
SpeCial with one Sensator is going to catch some of these Broodlords morphing here quite nicely.
Wow.
Snute is forced back here for a little bit. Those Broodlords still a little bit of a pain to deal with.
I got to push this back. Mostly Marauders in that ball right now.
4 Vikings being made at the time, by the way.
Yeah, he's really doing his switch right now. We see that he's getting the Corvid reactor, it looks like, getting some air attack as well.
Second Armory as well.
Yeah, he's serious about those upgrades. Like, I think he's looking at this and saying, okay, well, you know, Backwater, we're going to get into this huge half map type of situation. He's keeping this drop harassment up. He's trying to slow down Snute as much as he can so that he can do this full transition.
The crease spread is not being pushed back anymore. This is really when Snute, you know, starts kicking into full gear. If he can start bringing some spores over there with his army, it's going to get real scary.
Very tough for him to actually attack in. Nice little Ling counterattack down here, canceling a command center.
They're so on top of their upgrades, by the way. Snute starting the +2 missile as well, knowing that he's going to be fully upgraded eventually on the melee with the +2 about to finish. 2 more starports for SpeCial. The air transition is on the way, Artosis.
But look at this. You know, as part of his army gets drawn down, SpeCial goes ahead, uses his medevacs, uses that mobility advantage, and picks off base number 5. Snute still hasn't taken that base that you normally see as the 3rd. So definitely something that he's going to need to do.
Yeah, SpeCial, I think he would love to be more aggressive, but he would have to be a massive commitment. Actually, he goes for that commitment here on the Broodlords, knowing that they can expose by themselves, get some snipes on them. I guess those Marines are so expendable anyway.
Yeah.
Especially he's like, kill these Marauders, I don't want them anyway. I'll replace them with Ravens.
Especially if you hit him with Banelings. That's the way he really wants them to die. He'll do that all day long.
We'll see who's laughing when your army's orange again.
It'll be us.
And it's not for Halloween.
No, it certainly is not. All right, they're coming in right now, going after these Broodlords, launching some of those missiles. Ha-ha! Orange Broodlords. Another hatchery taken out. I mean, SpeCial's all over the place, man. The thing is, this is kind of funny to watch because Snute is like the best Broodlord, like Roach into Broodlord player in the world, I would say. I can't think of anyone better than him at this style. But it seems like when he goes for this type of play, SpeCial is really good against it.
Yeah.
Like with Stem being canceled and the fact that Snute kind of got to do everything he wanted.
Oh my god, they die so fast. SpeCial finding some good engagements here against just a portion of the army of Snute, kind of catching him down. The map Vikings are going to land and actually fight against those Hydralisks. This is not a very good idea here.
No, certainly not. He's going to lose a lot right there. But SpeCial, his supply actually plummeting quite a bit. This ground army very scary, but as the tanks come up, Snute has to turn around. Now, Snute's economy is like nothing. He has 43 workers. Okay, here's a base. We see he's about 25% down as far as the income of minerals right now, about half as far as gas goes.
He's getting pneumatized carapace. That's the 17th minute after all of this. Yeah, SpeCial ahead in supply, but that army still, Snute being ahead, just replenishing is going to be hard with that lower worker count.
Ooh, the Ultralisk Cavern on the way. I think he's done with Broods. Well, and he starts 3 Broods. Never mind.
Well, I guess he killed all the Marauders now, right?
Yeah, he has picked off a lot of Marauders. He might be looking at this and saying, you know what? Maybe I can punch through at some point here with the Ultras.
But there's still quite a few Marauders being remade behind this by SpeCial. Catches a few more on the map.
Well, Hydras do pretty well against Marauders, so that's okay.
To be honest, with the kind of economy that he has, I think it might be good for Snute to go into Ultras and add a lot of links at the front. Because if he can swarm that army of SpeCial one time, he might be able to go for a massive attack to then try and win the game. He's already got the Vipers to land the Blinding Clouds for those units to put in the work.
And look at all those Hydras there. You were talking about before how Hydra Ultra can be really super good. Nice interference on those Vipers there. Having to turn around and fly away. A few Broods coming up to join the main army. A lot of siege tanks still in production here.
Oh, parasitic bomb. Oh, I know they can get healed, but be careful.
Oh, those can get hit.
Ooh, what did SpeCial? I guess he saw Hydras on their own on the left side, so he jumps on top of them, but he missed the huge chunk of Hydralisk above this, and the Broodlords closing the distance right now. This might be the trigger here for Snute to finally go for the attack.
Yeah, there's some great blinding clouds actually slowing down the damage output of these siege tanks, but there's even more siege tanks further back. Going ahead and throwing down the anti-armor missiles here. Hitting quite a few of the units, but actually SpeCial's army getting very small right now. He's got half the army supply of Snute.
Oh, I'm looking. And Snute, does he pull the trigger here? He pulls back to try and regroup for a little bit. That left-hand side base is so exposed, and that's by far the healthiest base of SpeCial. If that gets sniped, that might be checkmate here.
Well, it is getting sniped. Ready, watch.
How did you know? That's how they sound when they spit?
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, I mean, we're listening to it, right? An Ultralisk on the way right now.
It's going to be cool soon. They're going to spit a different color as well.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Them and Adepts, man. Those are going to be fun battles to watch. It's like a fireworks show. It's going to look like League of Legends. All right, Stimmin here, picking off some of the queens.
The king of queens. My precious, don't touch them.
Yeah.
Family members.
Queen being a bro, saving the other queen there. Transfusion action. More Ultras being added in. There are some ghosts being made here by SpeCial. I believe he has like 2 Ghost Academies. Haven't really seen any specialness out
Who's winning?
Who's winning? I think it's Snute is winning.
Snute has more army, but just attacking across the map is still very hard because he's scared about the Vikings and Ravens in particular, I think. SpeCial's just going to re-expand eventually. I guess Snute has to siege again somehow. What? Where are the Broodlords at this point?
Well, he's switching it up. He's going into Ultralisks more so. He has more Ultralisks on the way.
Is that really going to work against the maxed out, or like soon to be maxed out Terran? That's like staying on his side of the map?
He's maxed as well, right? And he's got 3/3 for the Ultras as well as Chitinous. So that's a kind of big deal. And when you're on like Marine Marauder tank, I don't feel like that does as well against the Ultralisk tech.
Snute might need Banelings to make sure he can deal with the Ghosts accordingly. Because without that, it's very, very hard.
I feel like you need a big economy if you're going for Banelings to deal with Ghosts, because you got to kind of just right-click them through everything.
But it's definitely a weak moment for SpeCial right now, right? Like if Snute makes sure that this extra base at the bottom is never taken, SpeCial's running dry out of minerals soon. So it might be the mission here for Snute to try and make that happen. But again, moving across the map with everything that you have exposes you to a counter-attack and counter-drop, which Snute has still been trying to be very careful about. That's good for Snute, by the way. He's got a lot of Overlords on the left-hand side, plus the Quick Spray to see any kind of drop headed there. And that's how he's going to spot this one. That base will have to be cancelled here for now.
Wow, that base is just never going to be taken. He's going to float a command center there eventually. It's going to be the only healthy base on the whole map. Well,
pushing back the creep every time that he does that as well. Very nicely done by SpeCial. He's buying himself so much time to try and build up a bigger army. And he's going to max out. SpeCial's going to remax. Look at his gas, by the way. He's Ravens time.
Yeah, 4 Ravens at a time at the moment. Another drop here into that top right base. You know, it's just like you were talking about at the beginning of the game, Yoan. Getting that additional base is so difficult. They're so far out there that as soon as it gets taken, look.
Okay, that one, don't even try it.
I didn't even know there was a base there. Normally, that's just where I find the dark
didn't know
shrine.
either. He randomly sent a drone out on the map and found himself on a base.
The only reason I ever go up there, man, is to hunt down dark shrines and starports, you know?
fusion core now on the way. So advanced ballistics eventually going to be added on to try and help deal with these ultras. SpeCial, he's always getting these great engagements and pulling back just on time. Look, this is super cost effective. He loses nothing here.
Yeah, I love the anti-armor.
The Broodlords, can they even get out? No, they're being targeted down. Snute moved back too far with his ground army. He's not turning around and trying to engage.
The Vikings coming in and doing that damage as well. More missiles coming out. Healthy Ultra up in the front, but alone it gets taken out very, very quickly. Going back into the Siege Tanks now, has some ghosts here as well.
And SpeCial is being so cost effective right now in this fight. Some huge missile landing on top of these Hydralisks.
Just a crazy game. I can't believe how back and forth this was. I thought Snute was going to win a few times, but now I'm looking at this, and SpeCial is in a nice spot.
You're looking at the supply, aren't you?
I didn't even know that you could see the supply.
Now you do.
All right.
117 army supply for SpeCial, 100 for Snute, who's also got the lower economy. They've traded so evenly the entire game, almost.
It's just a problem that Snute hasn't been able to keep a lot of these bases alive. Whereas, like with SpeCial, like his first 5 bases basically were untouched, but they are kind of empty now. So that fringe base is super important to him. And you notice he keeps zoning near there too, because he knows if Snute ever kills that, it's tough.
He's going to go for the kill, but he's running out of units.
Picking off quite a few of these Liberators. There's a lot of Siege Tanks in the back, though. Snute's going to be in some trouble. Loses that Ultra. His Hydra's all going to die as well. This might be it for Snute. GG. Well played. SpeCial. Going to take the series 2-1. Oh, my God. My favorite series so far of the tournament.
Oh, yeah. Just
really
like
good. And, yeah, you see the disappointment here in Snute. I mean, he's such a strong player that you'd expect him to get very, very far in this tournament, but these open brackets, like what tournament has an open bracket like IEM Katowice?
None of them.
None of them.
Even that very old school one that some people compare this to. But yeah, Snute goes out of the tournament just like that, and great job by SpeCial.
Yeah. Really, really fantastic play. Guys, we're going to jump to a commercial break. When we come back, we'll hear how SpeCial feels.
It was yet another Terran opponent for Snute, but this time he does not prevail, and SpeCial stops his road and moves on in this open bracket. So first of all, congratulations, SpeCial. It was a very exciting series. There's so much to talk about, so let's just jump right into it. Games 1 and 2 felt like almost opposites in a way, because game 1, you maintained control, whereas game 2, it was Snute that really maintained that control. So walk us through the differences there.
I feel like game 1 I got a little bit ahead at the beginning, so I was able to control the game. So it was kind of easy after that, even though it took me long to kill him, just because the way he plays. But I was very ahead. Game 2, I didn't feel that bad of position until when he killed my tanks on my left. That was because I had my bio on the right, trying to kill the run by. I feel if I control the choke better, he can break me, and I could probably win that game because I felt like I was already getting enough goals to break him, but he won.
Well, then let's move on to Game 3, because that definitely was the most even, it felt like. At times, it almost seemed like Snute could win, but then your relentless dropping was just non-stop. So what do you think was the deciding factor? Was it the dropping, or what did you do so well?
I think I was able to pull him back always, so he was not able to kill me. That's why I was able to come back slowly. And then eventually I feel like after I had a lot of Ravens, he just kind of gave up, I think. He was just attacking into a very bad fight in general because I had so many siege units and stuff. So I just feel like at the end he was already like gave up when he saw so many Ravens.
Well, now with this win, you're going to move on, and you have just one more win, and then you qualify. Your opponent's going to be Bunny, and based off of your win rate from the past 4 months, TVT is actually your highest win rate. So do you feel the same way about your matchups right now?
Yes, my TVT is good, but the Bunny is very good right now. He's actually like rank 3 on the Korean ladder. He's very hard to... That's why I was very worried when I came to this group, because Cest and Bunny were on my side, and I felt like I was going to get both of them in the qualifying matches if I lost in the upper against Cest. So I don't know, it's going to be hard. I can win, but it's going to be very hard.
All right, best of luck, SpeCial. I'm sure a lot of your fans are cheering for you. Kaelaris, back to you.
That's right. Thank you very much, Smix. And welcome back to day number 3. I mean, day number 2 of the Intel Extreme Masters.
Almost became day number 3 with the length of that series, Kaelaris. That was right. Crazy.
Yeah, that was right. Jens Asgard trying to invoke Ragnarok, it seems like that in that series. And I can't really believe what we actually witnessed. Such a long series, almost longer than Titanic the film, Roddy.
Yeah, I don't really know where to begin. I mean, normally there's always a couple of key moments I'd like to talk about. I mean, that series just had way too many. I think in the end, TLDR is that those were very spectacular games.
Yeah.
Awesome play by both players, but the way that SpeCial has elevated his play and really keeps being on the high level that he's shown over the last few tournaments, it is just damn impressive. We're looking at that last game on Backwater, and at multiple moments, I felt at first when he defended the Ravages, he was in an okay spot, but then Snute really kind of turned it around. We're looking at, I think Snute can end it, but he just keeps hanging in there, and he's doing always such a fantastic job in keeping up his economy. He never seems to be starving himself. He's good in trading out units. SpeCial's playing fantastic StarCraft.
Absolutely. We make jokes, but it was a really, really good series. In fact, Pick, can we check in with you as a moment? You do have Hurricane versus Cure, and just to keep you guys updated, Bracket 4 has begun whilst all of that craziness was going on.
Almost ended,
actually. So what's going on, Pig?
All right, so Hurricane versus Cure is on right now. We're in game number 2. So we can hop straight here onto Backwater, where Hurricane currently with a massive advantage. Basically, he's just been going for this Oracle Phoenix play. He's been crushing Cure's pressures. In this game, it was a nice little Marine tank push. And now we see, of course, Hurricane. He's got double upgrades. He's got Storm and a 4th base on the way behind this. But he says, you know what? Why not do some damage at the same time? Very, oh, man.
Rico. No.
No, apparently not.
Oh, there's
a Stem! Oh, is it Roddy's brother?
Oh, he like ran into front at the same time, and he's actually not killing siege tanks.
What?
YOLO, Hurricane channeling his inner patience. He's just like, let's just go, man. He's like, I'm in a really good spot. Like, I can defend and get ahead, but you know what? Let's just trade off these units and kill some SCVs. So he's got a 4th base. He's got Storm. He's way ahead in the upgrades. He's got the double forges, which no doubt will spin a little bit more in the future. Hurricane in control of this series, looking like he's probably heading towards closing it out to 0. But we'll have to see how it goes.
How often do you see Liberator Range and Stimpack being researched at the same time?
I know. I've seen it all now.
Nice. Thank you very much, Pick, for that update there. We can actually check in with the bracket, and then I can ask you guys about a few more results that we did have coming in. This is Zest and Hero Marine moving through the upper bracket in 3. Wolf. Hey, we're on a fast pace now. Bunny versus SpeCial is going to be our next series. That's a qualifying match to find who moves on to the round of 24. Here we are in bracket number 4, of course. We had that first round start and almost conclude in the space of our last series. So as you can see, Neeb versus Cass, that was a 2-0 in favor of Neeb and Rotterdam. You were covering that one.
Yep, to give you guys a little bit of a review about that series. Game number 1, Neeb looked excellent. He opened up with a couple of adepts, oracles, just killed a bunch of marines. Cass opened 3cc, that's literally vintage Cash, by the way.
Right.
He used to open 3cc in 2010, 2011, apparently 2018 he still likes 3cc. Neeb punished him, and the first game was not really competitive. Second game was on Backwater, but we had a bunch of Cyclones. Basically, Cass did the exact same build as SpeCial did earlier, where he proxied a factory, and this time the Protoss did go for a Stargate, and the build is a lot better against Stargate than it is against Robo, but Neeb wouldn't be Neeb if he somehow didn't find a way to defend. Got 5-6 Stalkers, survived with Phoenix, then it was 3 bases against 2 bases, and Cass still put up a decent fight, but Neeb was in a good enough position to just close it out.
Finally, we did have TLO versus Patience, Tasteless. You were kind of checking out what was going on in that one.
Very short, very simple games. Unfortunately, TLO was not able to take on Patience. Patience, of course, there's no real shame losing to him.
Very good.
But they were basic games. Didn't go over, I think, maybe 12 minutes or something like that, each of them. So those were done by the time our first game that we were watching was going on. So we wrapped that up pretty quickly. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, as we will continue things on in Bracket 4 in just a bit. We still have one series from Bracket 3 to conclude here at the Intel Extreme Masters. So when we return, we'll get that series going and we'll know who moves into the round of 24.